Hello, my name is Emily. I'm much like you in many ways, perhaps. I have a normal suburban house. I have two parents that love me. I go to high school and I love animals. But one thing in my life is possibly nothing like anything you've ever experienced. My sister Amy. Amy was not normal. She never had been. She held a burning hatred for me from the moment I was born. My parents told me she once tried to put me into a washing machine and turn it on to see if it would hurt me. She called it an experiment. Thankfully, my parents intercepted her cruel antics and began to distance her from me since then. Amy was cruel and scary, even to my parents. Growing up, I could see how they fawned over me and cherished me, while they would always walk on eggshells around Amy, terrified of accidentally sending her into one of her angry fits. I once brought a little puppy home from the street and Amy became utterly enraged to see him there. She screamed at the top of her voice about how her parents had denied her a dog for years and how unfair it was that they were allowing me to keep one. I told her we could share the puppy together. I was young, and I hoped that she would love me. I had no idea what she truly was. We kept the puppy, Terrence, together. Amy, however, wouldn't let me play with him or even come near him. Even if I cried and cried, Amy would simply laugh cruelly from the other side of the locked door while little Terrence would bark on. It was torture. One day when Amy was in school, I broke the lock of her room and stole Terrence. I just wanted to play with him for a little while. He seemed so excited to be out of that cramped room too, his little tail wagging all around. So I happily went to our backyard with him and a frisbee. I found his tracks leading away into the forest behind our house, but they went all the way into the dangerous, dark areas. I was forbidden from going in there. Dejected, I came home and told Amy and my parents that I lost Terrence. That's when true hell was unleashed on me. Amy lost her mind. She began to wail loudly, uncontrollably. She screamed at me for breaking into her room and attacked me, trying to yank on my hair. My father pulled her back before she could reach me, and Amy swore that she was going to get me back for doing this to her. I cried and swore up and down that I didn't mean to lose Terrence. I loved him too, to make her suffer. She told me that now she would make me suffer. I had no way to know how much she meant those words. I'm not a cruel person, so I had no way to understand how much she truly wanted me to ache. She hid under my bed one night, waiting for me to slip under the covers. Then, when I was resting in my bed, she grabbed my ankles and let out a horrific screech, yanking me off the bed. I was so terrified my heart nearly leapt out of my throat. I cried for my parents as I crashed on the floor. Amy stood up and laughed at me, walking away with a pompous bounce. Weeks after that day, I went on a date with Henry Hills, the cutest boy in our school. I was so excited about this. I could barely stand it. He took me out for dinner and ice cream, and then I brought him home to meet my family. When I took him to my room, however, the sight before him made him scream. All of my dolls were hung by noose around their neck. They swung side to side from the ropes attached to the rafters, like so many bodies. Henry Hills ran out of my room. He never spoke to me again since that day. The reports of my house of horrors spread like wildfire, and no one from school would come to my house anymore. They were all terrified of Amy. How could she do this? What the hell was wrong with Amy? I knew she was sick, but this was getting out of hand. What I didn't know was that she was just getting started. She snuck into my room the night before the spring dance at school. She climbed in through the window with a pair of scissors.